Hey, what's up, all you witches out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with another episode of The Owl House. This time it's a review of episode 3 titled I Was a Teenage Abomination, going after those old, what was it, 1970, 1980s movies, which, like, I Was a Teenage Frankenstein and I Was a Teenage Werewolf. I think those came around the same time or something. Regardless, let's jump into this episode that introduces the rest of our main cast, basically. So, let's go. So, we open up with Ida being oh so interested in a trash slug. Basically, a slug that just collects trash, consumes trash. I don't really know how these things function, all things considered. Of the two that we see in this episode, I don't feel like I get enough of an explanation how one goes from point A to point B. But regardless, Ida is psyched because it's a treasure trove of human garbage for some reason. Now, that really makes me question, how does all this stuff from the human world end up in the Boiling Isles, the magical world? Is there some kind of portal we're not aware of? I know that, because of the way it's set up, stuff from this world spills over into Earth. But how does that happen? I'm waiting for the explanation there. But Luz is none too plussed on any of this, especially when she's handed a disgusting ball of something by Ida. And the moment Ida mentions that, oh well, what, she kind of mocks that. Oh, okay, so you seem to want to go to like a magic school or something. And hearing, oh, there's a magic school, Luz immediately makes a break for just that. And on the way there, she runs into this girl, Willow. Willow is in the Abomination tract. In the magic school, Hexside school for, what was it? Magic and demonics. There is a school where you have various different tracks. One's for abomination creation, one for illusion, one for construction, one for potion making. There's a whole bunch of different tracks, and Willow is in the abomination class. However, she should be in the one that's based on plants, as we see that she has a great control of plant life. Unfortunately, she's in the Abomination track, and her fellow student in that track is the student Willow, who is a plus 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 student. She even has a badge that says top student on her, and she shows off her incredibly well put together abomination, and mocks Willow by calling her a half witch, which I'm just like, is that like calling someone a mudblood? That feels like what that is. But, Willow starts to kind of throw a bit of a temper tantrum, feeling that nobody is around once Willow leaves, once Amity leaves, and she just kind of throws a bit of a tantrum, and Luz gets caught up in it. Meanwhile, King kind of mocks Ida for the fact that Luz was none too interested in learning from her, and they place a bit of a wager in who is the best teacher in the end, with the loser basically being demeaned in some way, shape, or fashion. And King's responsibility is to raise a baby trash slug and, show that he's a better teacher than Ida. Meanwhile, Willow and Luz kind of get along fabulously once Willow realizes that she got her caught up in her magic. And once Willow realizes that Luz is a human, she is deeply fascinated. But Luz is also fascinated by the fact that Willow is a witch. But they also comment on the fact that Willow isn't interested in the track that she is in, and Luz isn't interested in anything that Ida does. So, Luz decides to help Willow out and help herself out at the same time by posing as Willow's abomination. So, they reach Hexside School, and we also are introduced to yet another character, and this is Gus. He has a longer full name, but I'm just gonna call him Gus because Gus is a better name. And he has an obsession with humans. In fact, he's the what was it, president of the Human Fan Club, I think it was. So he loves all things human. And Willow introduces Luz, and he immediately is just like, holy crap, that's a human. So, friends, yay! Meanwhile, in the Abomination class, most of the students are failing miserably, and it's very obvious that Amity is gonna knock this one out of the park. But Luz reassures Willow of what they're doing, and Luz completely shows off during the presentation, which gets Willow an A plus. And not just that, the Abomination teacher even gives Willow Amity's top student badge, which niddles Amity something fierce, as she is determined to find out how Willow went from having a mush abomination to a almost completely solid abomination. That's not how that works. Meanwhile, Ida has tracked down Luz to the school, and she is devastated to learn that she has lost her one and only student to a world of order and busy work. But Luz is having a great time just getting to know Gus and Willow and just hanging out with them and eating lunch. However, the fact that she's eating tips Willow I keep calling her Willow, tips Amity off to the fact that you are no abomination. However, by attacking Luz, this gets her sent to the principal's office, which Willow and Luz are kind of concerned about where that's going to lead. Meanwhile, King continues to feed his little slug constantly, to the point where when he runs out, that slug gets a little ornery. And speaking of ornery, we come to find out that Amity told Principal Bump all about Willow's abomination, to the point where Principal Bump is very much interested in finding out what this abomination is made out of. Something that Willow learns is not something that a human can heal from. So Gus creates a distraction by knocking over all the abominations, giving Willow and Luz a chance to escape, but Principal Bump activates the magical defenses. So, while Luz did in fact have a good time going to magic school, getting trapped by the magical barriers, not what she was looking forward to. Speaking of which, King is having a bit of trouble with his slug and has to go running to Ida for a little bit of help. Speaking of help, the little clump of nastiness that Ida had given to Luz at the start of the episode actually was a seed that Willow then uses to completely take down all the abominations that are chasing after them and help take down Principal Bump, who is actually fairly impressed by the very great display of magical power that Willow has put out. But Amity corners them with an abomination, only for Willow to use her power to help, send Luz out of the school, kind of sacrificing herself more or less. So as Ida and King deal with the slug with a whole bunch of salt, which shrinks it down to size, Luz begs Ida for her help in helping free her friends, only to find out they're perfectly fine. In fact, Principal Bump was so impressed by Willow's magical display, he transferred her over to the plant track. Unfortunately, Luz isn't going to be able to see all the great magic that Willow will perform, as it's revealed that she has gotten banned from Hexside School, much to the delight of Ida. And while Willow does offer to teach Luz everything that they learn at Hexside, Luz ultimately decides that maybe it's best she learn from her true teacher, Ida. What a feel good episode. Like, I love the introduction of Luz's friends going for her, because while Ida is a fun character, you gotta have some friends your own age here and there. Sometimes it's just good to have people who are kind of on your level for the most part, if nothing else. But I love the introduction of Gus. He's fun enough. Willow is fine, but Amity, oof. I can't wait to see more of Amity. I'm already taking a liking to this character, and I can't wait to see what else we do with this character, who's very Draco Malfoy-ish, but I know a few things that are coming up, but I'm not gonna start overreaching past where I am currently. But I'm really delighted to see where this series continues to go, and it continues just to be a great and fun time. And I hope you had a fun time watching this video, and I hope you'll join me for the next one. But until then, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell icon, and leave this video a like if you want to, or a dislike. It's all up to you. And until the next video, just remember that lessons can come from anywhere. You just have to look a little closer. Until then, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.